Okay, we are finally live on YouTube. All right, so yeah, I think you guys can. Let me just give you the link to it now before I forget. And I was just explaining to everybody without going into too much detail now. Of course, I went into way too much detail just momentarily. I don't know, within the past 20 minutes. Oh, big ordeal with Best Buy trying to pick up parts that Amazon had canceled on me without even knowing, because yeah, sent to an email that I haven't checked in, I don't know, months. But long story short, I'll be building a brand new computer here this evening. Big, nice Ryzen 3800X, but I have a 3900 XT that I'll be building out as well. And what I'm going to do with that 3800X is maybe kind of raffle it off or have some sort of crazy idea going on for the webinar potentially. I don't know. I still got to think about that a little bit. But Bruce asked a question. What workspace should I use? And that would be the higher time frames workspace. Okay. The only problem is we've only got crude oil and the ES on there. Yeah, that's exactly what I'll be doing, Randall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It is going nowhere, and so are you, buddy. You never heard of problems, huh? Life situations and whatnot. Dick. So this is the weekly chart of the ES, which I don't know. I've been showing this for a long time, which was reason for the low. At which point I had told everybody, it's either the buying opportunity of a lifetime and it's an expanding triangle, like they'd been saying and we'd been saying for the entire, from basically about right here up after this nasty triangle here, because that's an ABC up into that final high. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult to count and doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And of course, how do you find a fourth wave low? Typically, you're drawing from wave one to wave three, parallel from two. And that'll help you find the end of wave four. But you hear me say this all the time in the trading room, and that is high before the low to the highest high, and then parallel from the lowest low between them. So rather than the highest high there, see, part of this was I want to say it was a Fed announcement. There was something going on back here because I called the top at 33.99 or something, but I tried to go short right here for some reason because, wow, that was the first hit of the major area. And then I had gotten stopped out, right? Normally and I'd never showed that to anyone. I never talked about it because I don't really talk about picking highs and, you know, buying lows when we're in a really strong directional move. And of course, that's all dependent upon the time frame you're looking at, right? So trend is defined by any number of definitions, and multiple people have various takes on it, but it's essentially a series of higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend, lower lows, lower highs for a downtrend. And how are you going to measure that? You're going to measure that on the daily, the weekly. That's why trading with one chart, which I see so many people teach, is about the most absurd thing that you could possibly do. And then, in the other direction, people like to say, Daniel, it's way too many charts. I can't handle it. It's overwhelming, which is where our service is going to come in and aid you, at least for the ES and crude oil, sending our analysis directly to your charts. And I'll have two others helping me with this service, and I'll be training them one-on-one here, possibly with another couple of you guys. Obviously not too many, but a certain small number. We'll work out those details later, but this is Cedric and Bo, both of whom have been using market geometry in my tools for years and years. And Cedric, of course, is our support guru. So, among many other things, I mean, he's a trained engineer, so he's pretty brilliant, actually, which is why I'm going to give him the ability to help me with the market geometry, because he's extremely capable. So, as we're going back up here, the dudes at Elliott Wave, no doubt, have been looking for a lower high. And I was thinking, I doubt that very, very much. But since it did start to look like it was doing a kind of a double three back up, I was thinking, well, maybe it'll do about a 88.6 retracement or something crazy like that. And maybe we just need to fill this gap, which we have yet to do. That's at 3309. So, like I don't know, not very brilliantly attempted a short that I thought I was going to hold for, half of the week anyway, maybe into this week, which obviously did not work out. That's way, way early. And yet it was at the top of a beautiful upsloping channel on a tick chart. So, those couple of shorts that did set up have failed 2 in a row. So I would expect that this is going to keep on going. NASDAQ has taken off. And of course it's taken off. Everybody's working from home. Microsoft has just made a killing. So has any other platform that serves employees and employers that have their employees overseas or in any other location. Any company that's set up with workers that are not coming into the office have to use these services. And of course, they have skyrocketed. So has Zoom, the platform that we're using now. And I imagine YouTube is getting all kinds of views, except for those that they've recently kicked off. They're not getting any views. But anyway, so Han's asking a question. Does the 2-week trial start on August 10th or before? It'll actually be just after, because August 10th obviously is the day of the webinar. So I won't be able to do it that day, needless to say. But it'll be starting very soon after that. And then it's going to be pretty cool. The forum, it'll be made into a kind of an app that you'll have on your phone, and you'll be able to have it on your computer as well. So you'll be able to just double click on it, automatically sign in. And if this dude can figure it out, it'll show the ES charts on the left and the crude oil charts on the right, or vice versa. And I'll just show you that as I export this for the very first time. We got some old haters out there trying to make me feel bad. Oh, go off and go learn some garbage from someone else then. It's typically people that are upset because they're blowing their accounts because they have no idea how to trade. Let's see. No, I wasn't self-deprecating. I was telling you that somebody was calling me, you know, names and whatnot. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying that about myself. So once you sign into the website, and the forum doesn't look all that great, to be sure, but he's working on it, and a lot of this stuff will be hidden. But so when I export, you'll see me do this in a moment, and it's kind of divided up into two sections here, which is not the best setup. We didn't realize that it wasn't sending the screenshots, and I sure hope he's fixed it, but we're about to find out. He said he fixed it. Let's see. So when I export this, even though it's on the continuous contract, it should upload the snapshot of it, hopefully, in about 1, 2, 3 seconds. Well, that's not working yet, obviously. Let me just reload it just to be sure. I may not have the tag set up. Let me try it from Analysis Live real quick. That's another thing. The forum's a bit difficult to navigate. Here we go. Oh, I'm signed in as an admin. Oh, Daniel. Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna log out. This is all getting changed. It's gonna be quite beautiful by an actual guy that's been doing it for this system, for all of the tools and whatnot that we use for years and years and years. Like, he's built a lot of beautiful, beautiful websites. So let's see now. It may just be because of the fact that it's a continuous contract. You can scroll down here to the bottom. But no, it's not doing it. Oh, I suppose he was fibbing. Anyway, what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to put a screenshot there at the exact moment that it shows up on your computer. So anyway, let's try it on the 5-minute. I'll just show you what it looks like in the Analysis Live anyway. So this will be, we did actually. Yeah, you can tell too. That's the main that's the main problem with it. Let's see, there's the daily and the weekly that I just exported. And then of course you would import it to your charts, and you can do that manually or completely automatically. You can merge it with your own or have mine replace yours. So that's what's going to be so key for a lot of you guys that just, it's not exactly an easy thing to do. The market geometry, it can be very time consuming to learn. And I mean, look at that low right there. Goodness gracious. Look at that. Well, that was the low. Right after we closed the room too. Anybody buy that? How beautiful does it get? The down sloping channel is not all that pretty, but I bet it is on the tick chart. 78.6, of course it is. So that is probably our triangle. That's finished there. A, B, well, that would have to be B. C, no, it doesn't work as a triangle. That's got to be a new one too. So it looks to me like that's just a running flat at this low here. So I think this is our new 1, 2 up, and we're going to go into that fifth wave. So, I mean, this is going to be the last shot at putting in a lower high. But again, the NASDAQ is, I mean, it's through the roof, literally. It's out of control, straight up. And I don't think, hey, Charlie, I don't think that S&P is too far behind. The Dow's a bit lower than the S&P, but yeah. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, you've got a pretty little... Oh, let me try this other one. See, that's the thing. I use hotkeys with a gaming keyboard, which makes the application of this so much faster. It's just incredibly difficult and time consuming to do. It's just so tedious if you have to. I mean, you can use hotkeys, but you have to draw each trend channel individually from the pitchforks, and we can draw those both together at the same time with 2 clicks instead of 3. And then, of course, get signals from them. So you had a ton of reasons for this to be a high or low, which I think we talked about last Sunday. And it did turn up, didn't it? But now what? Well, now I think we've got a pretty big third wave upcoming of 5, which I think is 5. We'll see, but might be the last leg of wave 3 up. And if it's going to do what I expect it's going to do, although that 161.8 is a pretty common, pretty common target for the third wave, I'm thinking that we're probably going to make it to that 261.8, which would be the top of the channel, this channel anyway. And then we'll obviously be broken out from the high, which I want to say, yeah, see, there's that low, which we put in, which was quite spectacular. But it retraced all the way back down and nearly broke it. So that's why I say, every attempt at going lower has been met with really significant support. So that's telling me, look, we're not ready to go down yet. It's probably not going down yet. I'm thinking at the very least, it'll have to fill the gap before it'll turn down. But, you know, by that time, we're so close to breaking the high that once we get into the gap, whatever's going to happen is going to happen pretty quick. Either we're going to take off right through it and go break the high, or we'll immediately reverse and turn down from it, at which point I'd be looking for a lower high, which ought to be pretty obvious. So I know a lot of you guys don't know or care about Elliott Wave at all, but we tend to use it quite extensively. Well, that's good, Randall. I'm glad he's helpful. Well, everybody says that about him. He does a pretty good job. Does an excellent job, actually, doesn't he? And he, together with our developer, have been working on the toolbar guide, which I'll be going through once I get done here. Probably do it after I build that computer first, but I'll add the import manager section to it and the market geometry section to it, and then it'll be done. And then you guys will have a complete guide on the toolbar, which is massive. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly how we're going to do it. So if you just have the toolbar, you're still going to be getting access to, you know, my analysis, mine and Bo's and Cedric's. I think Bo will be starting next week, and then Cedric will probably start in September, August, September. Yeah. And yeah, then we'll add obviously a couple of markets. Then we'll be going not 24 hours a day, but you know, Bo will be starting at like 1 a.m. Eastern time. So that's going to be, I think, really key for a lot of you guys in Europe and Asia. Maybe not Asia, but definitely Europe. All right, so let me just export this one, and let's see if it has something to do with the contract. Work, baby. Nope, he's still got to fix something. So yeah, you'll have access to not only the pictures, but I'll be doing little 5-minute videos showing you. You know, I'll be writing a lot more on the charts before I export them, because you won't be hearing my voice, obviously. And then once I'm done with the initial write up or draw up, then I'll do a little recap of what I'm looking for and why, and what it would take to get into that potential entry, and you know, what I'm expecting and what would happen if it does play out, and then what I would do if it doesn't. And what I would do if it doesn't is sit back and say, oh well, and look for the next setup. Some people get so bent out of shape about missing a move, and it took me a little while to understand that too. And it's all about statistical analysis. And if you have a system that, quote unquote, catches every move, well, that's just a lie in and of itself. It's BS. There's no possible way in the world. I mean, unless you know the future, that a system could find every major move. So yeah, anyway, this forum's going to look a lot nicer, and it's actually going to work. Yeah. It's a shame. I was assuming that it did. But then again, I didn't have a whole lot of time to get ready with what happened. Let's make sure I got it all turned on. Of course I do. Oh well. So yeah, not only because the Nasdaq has turned straight up and broken the high, am I looking for new highs, but I'm looking for new highs anyway. I know a lot of people think that it's going to be coming down and world's kind of falling apart, but I think it's getting pieced back together. I think people are going to have enough of this nonsense and just get back to work. Hopefully. Plus, $12 trillion goes a long way, as you can see in gold. This would be the absolute last spot. And that's just, you know, wishful thinking, in my opinion. We've already broken through the 90% retracement. Yeah. I tell you what, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to put it on the lowest closing price because that is a pretty big wick. And let's see where that 88.6 is now. Right on top of it. So, you know, this is what I was assuming as well, but dudes at, you know, the Prector bunch were thinking this was wave one down. And I kind of got on board with that for a moment just because it looked so nice. And two up. That failed, of course. Did turn down, but of course I missed that one. But then when it came back up and did that really deep retracement, we were thinking, well, you know, that's probably just an expanded flat B wave. Like this is A up here. A, B, C expanded flat, and then C up for wave two. Which, I mean, that's like the main way you get psyched out is you take the end of, you know, what is the A wave or what is the B wave within an X or B wave. I know this is kind of convoluted, but such is the method. But look at how clean and clear that initial swing high was right there. You know, it's a perfect hit. I think it was in the middle of the overnight, or no, it was right at the close, right? Yeah. And then the next day, we skyrocket right up after the open. And then at that high, I did short it, but I got stopped. That was my second and final attempt. So I'm trying to be as straightforward with you as possible here and let you know what's happening as far as what I'm doing. So I did give it a chance to play out as such, but that theory is old hat now. And now that we've double topped exactly, which is odd, it's actually quite odd. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've got that down sloping upper median line here. It could still put in a lower high and be a wave too. It really could. But hey, guess what? Hey, Mick, how are you, sir? I got a story for you, buddy. If you were only here earlier, you would have heard it, man. But pretty horrible. But let me help Katie real fast. She just got here with everything, which is incredibly fast. I'll be right back. right, cool. She got it. Yeah, it was a lot faster on the way back, I guess. Traffic on a Sunday is not nearly as bad coming back across the lake as it is going to New Orleans. But anyway, that would be our last potential, I'm not seeing it, so I hate to call it, but you got a double three potential if it does set up as such. So if we break that high, that's really the only pattern it could be, would be a double three. And it looks, it's about to break the high, it looks like. So that would be your first ABC up here. So let me do it like so. I know this is a bit overwhelming for those of you that don't use it or don't believe in it. And I know there's a very loud crowd, just like the crybabies in the millennial bunch. It's very few, but they're so loud that they get heard quite a bit, and people listen to their garbage. But there's a lot of people that say that Elliott Wave is useless and blah blah blah. But when you've got a track record to prove that it's useful, what do you do about that? Maybe you just didn't study hard enough. Maybe you didn't do very well in school. Maybe you don't have a high enough IQ to learn it. That's probably what it is. Just low IQ people. Those tend to be the ones that scream and yell. So that would be the only possible thing that we'd have left as far as a potential lower high is concerned. And I'm just, I'm not digging it. Not digging it at all. I'm thinking more along the lines of one back up here, two down, and we're probably coming up on the end of the third wave at the next high, which would likely be near the top of this channel. Well, let's just go over that real fast. So if you're looking for the end of a third wave high, let's just imagine none of this exists. How are you going to find it? What are you going to do to find it? I don't know, but yeah. Well, you've got a couple of options. You've got 2 to 4 parallel from 1 and 3. Sorry, we're trying to find the end of wave 5 of 3. So for instance, and this is probably improper nomenclature, but who cares? Just trying to get a point across. So if we've got 5 waves up for wave 3, well, that's a difficult count right there, buddy. That is really difficult to get a good clean 5 up out of this because it's all overlapping, So when it's that bad on the ETH chart, you always want to use the RTH chart. And this is turning into more of a training session than it is just a simple overview, but so be it. You guys probably needed one. Let's tighten this up a bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so you could call this the end of a running flat here. And this is just the beginning of the 5th wave from this low. Maybe that would make more sense. And I know that's why these guys are looking for a lower high because of this nasty overlap here. But, you know, other than that, you'd simply have to call it as such. So that'd be your little 1, 2, right? And 3, 4. And then you're still in 5 of 3, which is very, very awkward. Long story short, the end of wave 3 could be anywhere between 3320 and the top of that channel at 3360. So I'm just going to put it up there. And then let's move on to crude here in a moment. But let me show you all the ways that you can look for the end of this move, at least using what we have in view right now. So if that is 2, that's at least the starting point of the third wave, if not the starting point of the entire set of 5 up. So you really only have so many choices here. I'm going to get rid of this median line, midline. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this for now. And if this is not doing a triangle, which it looks like it definitely could be on the RTH chart, if we put in a high today, like, you know, in the overnight, if we don't go any higher, it would have to stop literally just shy of the previous high and then come down in one more ABC, and then you'd have a nice triangle wave 4. But yeah, the only other options you really have, I mean, let's use the widest ones we have, would be that trend line or even this one. That's the closest. Suppose that would be the closest. I'll leave that there just in case. I'm just simply going to compare these real fast. Yeah, see, that's why. That's another reason why I'm thinking that third wave is not quite finished. You haven't made it to that 161.8 yet, and more often than not, you'll make it at least pretty close to it, if not through it, in a third wave. And then a good chunk of the time, small percentage, but a good chunk, you'll make it to the 261.8. So let's say that this is the end of wave 4. Just in case. Yep, that would be your first target right there. It's your first potential, but it would have to do a 345 as it ran into that. And is there enough time and room for that? Maybe. Maybe. I doubt it. But the other possibilities we have would be using these higher lows. So, it could be a series of 1-2s. That would be a bit awkward. Of course, it can always be an ending diagonal for a fifth wave. That's another big possibility. So those happen to line up. That's pretty good. More overlap, the better. At least the higher the weight I place on the area, and the tighter it is, like the closer the lines are together, the better, and the higher the weight I place on it, as those tend to be the ones that really just reverse right out of that area. Let me see if I have this. Hey, MJ, I'm so sorry about your father. Yeah, I'm glad you joined us. Good. That's it. That's all you can do. Just stay busy. So sorry, love. And you guys can chat, with not just me, but all attendees as well. You know that, right? So when you're doing the chat window, you can change it to all panelists and attendees. You get rid of a couple of dicks real quick. These people are such turds. What a loser. It's funny how they don't name themselves either. It's usually the competition. Well, I mean, once you start calling me names, then I don't think you need to be here any longer. Kind of makes sense. Okay. Let's get on with it here. I really want to find the end of this move, because if it is going to be a lower high, then gotta recognize it before it happens so we can actually take advantage of it. Problem is, a lot of these major turns will happen in the overnight, and then what are you going to do? So, hey, kitty cat, come here, Charles. This is really a pretty good looking target to me right there. That's it right there. A millennial calling me childish. Incredible. Let's see about this one here. Yeah, so it looks to me like you'll probably have a third wave if this is a little. I don't know how hard this is for you guys to see, but if that's our little 1, 2 of 5, that is probably going to be hard to see. Then wave 3 will probably finish up at about 33.20, and it may look like that turn down is going to be the high, and then I would imagine you'll get a nice fourth wave that we can actually trade. And then hopefully wave 5 will take us right up to the top of that channel, but I'm going to need it to take its time and make it to about right there. And then that'll be the end of 3. Charlie's digging in the bag of goodies. He loves a good bag for some reason, a weirdo. All right. I mean, who doesn't love a good plastic bag? I think this high is higher than that, actually. Let's see. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right. So we've got a couple of reasons for those major highs occurring within these two pretty tight spots, which I'll export now shortly, directly. Mm, yeah, I think might be a little bit tough actually. You've got. I'm going to go ahead and do a parallel of this one because when you would draw it automatically, this channel would draw from the widest point, which would be right there. And that just lines up with everything else. So do I need to copy it really? Not really. But it does kind of widen the area. It just depends on how fast we make it there. So I would say in order to mark that and time it properly, you've got this section and then you've got this section. And that's those are both pretty tight. So one or the other. And this would be five of 3. Yeah, it's where people's eyes just glaze over. But that's all right. This is going to be the difficult part here, figuring this sucker out. But I'm just going to go for that. And then, yeah, that's rough. Oof. That is real nasty. That's what makes me think ending diagonal. Yeah, I've had a few people tell me that, Mick. I even wrote you, and I didn't get a response, and I was thinking, well, what the heck? But yeah, it is Daniel.row1. I don't know why. Ah, okay. I got the wrong one then. I said some weird stuff to that other Edward Stevens. Oh well. You can imagine. I'm just gonna go for, let's see, whatever. Let's do this. That's got to be 3. Nope. 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 Yeah, I guess so. It just doesn't really feel right, does it? No wonder they're not calling this an impulse, because it's really not looking like an impulse. Man, that's what makes it difficult. When it gets like this, it gets convoluted that, basically at this point, I just kind of give up on Elliott Wave and stick to the market geometry, and that's it. I mean, that's really all you can do. I don't give up on it, but I'm saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to say. That is a weird one, though. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do with it. Well, at any rate, enough of that. According to the market geometry, these are our main spots. I could get an ending diagonal out of it, but I don't want to sit here and waste the time and do that in front of you, because that would take way too long, and I at least want to get through crude and the 6E. And I just got all my parts, Meg. So I'll be building that thing tonight. Katie just went and picked them up for me over in New Orleans or Harahan or somewhere across the lake, which is a horrific drive across that never-ending bridge that so many people fall off of. All right. That's about as good as I can do it for now, guys. And I should have been prepared for this, but you know, it's what happens when you live in the Rona world and everybody's bought up all the computer parts that exist in the entire planet. And you've got to drive 2 hours just to get a motherboard. Yeah, that's kind of what I already had mapped out there. So we'll see. Still a possibility for a lower high, but I mean, how many times can I say that? I'll leave it like that. I'll color these actually. Let me do this. I'm just going to put this in the alternate color. See how fast that was? Interesting. I'll even do that one blue. Why not? Come on, you. Uh-oh. Getting weird on me. One, two, three. Yeah, I'll put the third wave down here. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the volume analyst here. That's how we confirm our trades, dude. Yeah. That's another reason why I was kind of thinking this low was really significant and we were going to go straight up because of that relative volume. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I could show you some of that now if maybe we'll do that near the end. But yeah, I've got a pretty detailed and it's got a lot of moving parts. But yeah, it gives some, when it all comes together, quite amazing signals for sure. All right, I'll leave it at that, and then we'll get on with crude oil. We'll come back to YM maybe if we have some time. One second here. Okay. So yeah, this is where we did get a good, this is what we were talking about. I think it was last Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah. And I was talking about the low coming in right here. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but last Sunday we started at 5, but yeah, today was a little bit rough because I had a lot going on. But we were talking about looking for a low right here, and we got that low. And you'll hear me say this in all of the training videos on the setups on trade management. So anytime you're buying the low, you know, like a retracement low, and it's a good clear ABC or double three, yeah, sure, absolutely. I'll call you Ed. I'll add you before we get done here. Anytime you've got a really clear ABC or a double three, and it is the double three that is the most common. I was second guessing myself, and then I just recently found the material that covers all that. So the double three is the most common correction, at least according to this one study that I read. And double threes usually have a pretty obvious X wave. It may look like a B wave, but in this case, just to kind of bring this to a head here, if you would have taken that, and I think it set up like right after we shut down. No, that bar didn't close until 9 o'clock that night. So you had to wait for that a little while. Oh yeah. You had to wait long into the evening. Looks like the next day, kind of. Not quite. All right. So if you did buy that, where would your first target be and why? How do you figure all that stuff out? How do you set your targets based on what? But if it's based on the average range of what chart? And why would you even buy that low on a 138-minute chart? And why in the world even use a 138-minute chart? Really, the only answer to that is that there are 10 138-minute bars per day. I would have rather used a number such as 9, but you know, we work with what we've got here. So that divides it up into 10 even 138-minute bars. And that's really just it. I needed a 120-minute chart. I needed something basically between 2 and 3 times the hourly, and this did the trick. So what I do and what I tell everybody to do is take one off, you know, if the risk to reward is such that you're making at least a couple of times what you're risking. And the problem with that is when you're putting multiple contracts on, your initial risk is the value of all contracts combined. And that's where you can start to skew and screw your track record up, not really knowing all the details and ins and outs of risk reward and R multiple, just risk in general, probabilities, statistics. If you want to get good at trading, if you want to understand why the markets move the way that they do, why you consistently lose money when you're going for a 7-tick target, when you're going for a 5-tick target and a 7-tick stop, it's because your R multiple is upside down. It's below 1. And you should have an equation memorized by heart. It's called the percentage of winning trades to break even equation. Write that down. Percentage of winning trades to break even equation. And that's all based on the number of ticks in your target or a percentage of average range, however you want to define it, versus the number of ticks in your stop. You could define it however you want, in dollars, ticks, average range, multiples of the daily range, you know, whatever, however you want to define it. If that number is above 70, you may as well hang it up. There are a few people that do it and can do it well, and I've seen their results at a couple of particular funds that I know, but they are, you know, they've been doing this a long time and they've worked it out on the side while trading another system that, of course, had a much higher R multiple they were going for. So, in other words, don't let your profit target be smaller than your stop loss, because that's just childish. So if this is your entry, let's say you put your stop just far enough behind, something like that, and you had 2 contracts on, not 3. So I'll just delete that one. And let's see. So let's say you exited both on a break of that previous high, which is right here. So that's what I say. Once you break that previous B or X wave high, take a little profit, because that's the point at which it's likely to fail, especially if it hits the top of the channel, as this one clearly does. I mean, look at it. That's probably reason enough to close the trade, actually. Yeah, so that's why I would take at least one off there. So let's say you took just one, all right? If you took both off there, let's say you got out of one a little bit early, that's a realized R multiple of almost 6 to 1. Isn't that nice? That's a beautiful, nice number. So if you consistently got that, if you made 5 times even what you risked on a consistent basis, you don't have to have a whole lot of winning trades to make money. You can have a 35 or 38% winning trades and still make money, right? But if it's upside down, if it's closer to 1 or 2, heaven forbid below 1, you've got to win like 70, 80, sometimes 90% of your trades. Who can do that? Very, very few people. So if you think that you're going to buy some system that's going to get you a couple of ticks and you're going to risk a whole lot of ticks to get them and you're going to make money, you need to do a little bit more studying. So at any rate, that ended up being the exit. And of course, I didn't wait up and get into that. I finally went to sleep on time that day, which was wonderful. And now we've come down and done this big, giant, weird looking thing. So what is happening? What, in fact, is actually happening? And is that a true triangle? Pretty good question. All right, we still haven't broken. Yeah, we did. We broke it. We sure did. So that certainly can't be. Yeah, it can. So I'm going to show you this. It's going to be a little bit rough, but we'll work it out. Yep. Man. All right. So that's what's happening. Okay, we can still come down one more time, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see that happen. And actually make it down to the bottom of those channels. So I'm of the opinion that this is a triangle fourth wave here. It would be called a running triangle, okay? And then what does that make this push up? It's clearly not impulsive unless it's a series of 1-2s. That's a ridiculous notion with the fact that we had this massive sell-off here. seemingly came out of nowhere, but there was, I don't know, maybe there was news or something, who knows. But if this is the fourth wave low, then what does this move up? I think it's wave 1 of 5 of an ending diagonal. So that probably sounds like what? But let me show you what I mean. So this would be your, if we're looking for an ending diagonal, we're looking for an ABC up for 1. All right, doesn't have to be ABC, it can be WXY. It's just it's a 3-wave pattern or a combination of 3 waves, which is what a double 3 is. So in this case, we're looking for wave 2 down. Obviously can't break the starting point of wave 5 or the end of wave 4, which I'm showing as a triangle. Okay, and then I'm looking for one more ABC up for 3, one more ABC down for 4, one more ABC up for 5. 1 second. All right, sorry, I had to shut the door real fast. All right. So that's clearly a double 3, or at least it is in my view. You've got an ABC up for W. Let me make sure I'm using the right. Yeah, it's right here. Okay, W. And A, B, C, D, E. So that's your X wave, all right? And this is another A, B, C. This is the one that people have the most trouble with, double 3, and yet it's the most common pattern. And to see me mark it up as the end of a wave 1, well, that's just nasty. But look at that. It just traces out a perfect channel. I mean, how bizarre. It's almost like this stuff is useful or something. So that, yeah, traces out a nice, lovely channel. Do most impulse waves do that? When you're connecting from 0 to 2, the starting point of 1 to the end of wave 2? No, the third wave typically breaks out of the top of the channel, right? So either we're in a gigantic expanded flat and we're going to go down and we're going to break this low in 5 waves down to here, okay? Or we're putting in a wave 2 low without breaking this one. So we got to stay above this one. All right, I'm going to take this off now. In fact, I'm going to disable my stay in constant draw mode. Okay. And then I need to delete that one. Okay, so we've broken through that. We'll probably pull back to it right in here. And then we'll either keep going for an ABC up in wave 3, or we'll finish up with one more wave down, which would put this as a big C wave down, yeah. Unless it comes back inside of this low. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking it's potentially going to come down to something like right in here. $78.6. It already hit the $78.6 pretty much. Chances are that low is in. Let me just delete what's not totally necessary. All right. What if I use that low? Then it's probably even better looking. Mm-hmm. Sure is. Makes me wonder about that low. But anyway, all right. So if we turn up, we may have one more short. You got the VWAP right there, man. That sure did draw fast on this 138-minute chart. Goodness gracious. Never seen the profile draw that fast. It's almost like the stuff's getting better or something. And then you got the point of control right there too. And that's the heart of the volume cluster, you see? I guess we got some questions here. Let me see. Oh, awesome, Bob. Thank you so much. I didn't know they even made such a thing. That's awesome. Thanks, man. Really cool of you. Thank you, Bob. You know, I used to make a fake name, Daniel Roski, for the website to test it. And then, well, I think you were one of the first guys in there anyway. And then I got an old Bob Roski. I was like, I got to change my test name. Anyway, all right. So, what did this come down to? Looks to me like it was probably a parallel of this one, but we'll draw a channel as well. But yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's a parallel of that downsloping upper median line there. And that's the only thing I didn't draw in real time on that day, Friday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday. So now on the way back up, I wouldn't use the extreme wick of that low to draw this upsloping channel unless you use this high. So let me show you what I mean. Well, let me just say one thing first. When you have a really, really steep channel like this, you might want to use the Schiff median line, which is this blue one. And oftentimes that'll give you the exact spot, but you don't see me use that one a whole lot, only in specific circumstances. But here, because it's so steep, you also have that midline, and you've got a little range there. Excuse me, it's not that little. It's not that little at all, actually. So I'm just gonna see who keeps blowing my phone up. Maybe I'm doing something crazy. Yeah, we want to look at that on a much faster chart. Let me see if I have a faster one open. Well, I can flip to, yeah, I'll do that because we're gonna wrap it up with crude anyway. I don't have time to go on any further. I've got a lot to finish today. So I'm going to switch to our main trading workspace. And I can do that with hotkeys, or I can use this tool here. And that puts crude oil at the bottom, which is the way I have it. I have crude oil at the bottom, and then I have the ES at the top. And I've got 3 workspaces open right now, and I can combine them all using the window manager. Click to show all windows. And boom, now you've got them all combined without messing them up. And you can close it while they're combined like that without doing any damage. So yeah, looks like I already had that one marked up as a matter of fact. All right, let's do this. I'm going to go over here. Number 6. All right. Where are we? It's a 1:38 minute. I've already got that one. All right, here's the hourly. This is what I was writing before the close on Thursday, I think. Yeah. And it shifted on me. But anyway, that's what I was thinking. Okay. And it's actually kind of what played out there. I just didn't get a deep wave. No, I drew that at the close of 28, 29, 30, 31. Yeah, at the close of the 29th. Okay. Yep. Because I was saying, what if it breaks through? Because we turned down from that down sloping upper median line. So I had to make a case for the downside. All right. I typically will make, unless it's quite obvious, a case for both. And then whichever one sets up will be the one that I'll end up, well, maybe would be the one that I would end up trading, but only if it falls in line with all of my rules. I don't try to sell tops and I don't try to buy extreme lows anymore. Not in front of you guys anyway. I've got a couple of personal trades that I do rarely. But those are very, very, very rare. One of which was the low in crude that I bought at $7.07 or something, and then I exited at 8, like 5 seconds later before I could move it. But whatever. That was a weird day. I mean, my data was probably lagging anyway that day. It was moving so fast. All right. Let's see. So again, I don't want to use the extreme wick of that low. All right. So what chart is acceptable to use the actual closing price? Well, the hourly chart is, but the lowest closing price on the hourly, I mean, that makes that a massive wick. The closing price on the hourly is right there. Goodness gracious. I guess that's the closing price. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I got it to high low. Sorry. All right. I got to change these anyhow. Let me just do that for all of them real quick. High low close, open high low close, just in case you want to connect it to a gap. I'll leave that up to you guys, actually. This one has to be loose. Yeah, bars or none. All right. So if I did use that lowest closing price, I know this takes forever, but that's what analysis takes. Then that's just not working. So we're going to use the 15-minute. We'll use the 15-minute from the RTH chart. And then we'll also use the lowest 5-minute. I think we're about to have a long setup. I really do. Let's do this. Let me go over to this chart. I'll just go ahead and export this anyhow. If you guys want to import that. I know all of you can't import it, but soon, starting next Monday, not tomorrow, but the following Monday, anyone who owns the toolbar will be able to import all of my analysis, and then Bo's analysis, who will soon be starting, and then Cedric's. And then hopefully we'll add some more markets pretty quickly. I wish this were easily automatable, if that's the word. But market geometry takes a bit of finesse that is quite difficult to program for, similar to Elliott wave. That's why very few people have fully automated the Elliott wave theory principle, as it were. I guess Prechter's done it, but it took about 2 decades or 3 decades. Anyway, so we've got still a much, much higher closing price than I even want to work with. So I'm going to use the 5-minute. I'll go over these tick charts too. This is where it's at with the relative volume. We're getting a 2-bar pattern right now. Oh, that worked out. But didn't quite break that high. What does that mean? Let's see. Well, this will set up on the 2-minute chart here shortly. It's probably just now starting to get the signal, actually, because it just ticked out that low. And it is a 2-bar pattern. Let me hurry up with this real quick. I'm just going to be quiet until I have this figured out real fast. So just bear with me. Yeah, it's funny, Meg. I forgot we had 2 Edward Stevens. It's like one of 4 people that we have the exact same name for. That poor guy. He probably thinks I'm a nutter. Well, he wouldn't be too far off, I guess. Pretty sure we're all nutters now. I know what I'm going to be doing here in about a few minutes. Why would I even consider that? It looks like an impulse down, Daniel. Well, it does. Looks like the impulse down of a C wave, in fact. I could be wrong. It may even very likely be wrong. But this could be an ending diagonal, An expanded flat. Could be an expanded flat. And what is our most common fib target for an expanded flat? Goodness gracious, how perfect can it line up? 138.2. And I'm just now getting a signal on the row 1. But I'll need some market geometry. Why does it look like a double bottom on the tick chart, but not on the minute chart? What is going on with that? Huh. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. You know what it is? It's time to update the values of our tick charts and the row bars. Volatility has decreased a little bit. Or, well, at least a little bit relative to 2 weeks ago. Let's see what happens here. Right on the VWAP too. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, it is. 50% retracement. Right on top of 40. Well, I'm either going to, don't do as I do. This is not investment advice. This is not any such. I'm not a licensed investment advisor, and you should be warned that I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I've just missed it because I'm sitting here fiddling around. You know what? You know how our system works? This is how our system works right here. Win, lose, or draw, I really don't care. When it all comes together, you'll get one show up on this here chart called the Row BB chart.
Order submitted.
And it's going down with a quickness right as I buy it. We'll see. We shall see. It's going down a little bit too fast for me to have done that, but such is life. And I probably shouldn't be doing this in front of you. But once again, I am no licensed trading advisor. I really have no idea what I'm talking about, and you should not listen to me. Don't trust me. Don't trust anyone in this industry. They're all a bunch of liars. The thing I lie about is how long it's going to take me to do something. I'm not actually lying on purpose. It just ends up becoming a lie. Somehow think that I can get things done in 4 times the speed of sound, which I can never do. Well, you know what the problem was? I didn't know what a development life cycle was. I had no idea what that even meant. What is a development life cycle? So, yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Trying to project the amount of time to delivery, release schedules and such, and all such as that, you know? Yeah, it's a bit difficult. Tell you what, though, that next release on the relative offloading of the calculations is going to be quite cool. The reason this one up here is snapping to 43.38 is because of I've got a line colored spring green on one of these higher time frames. And I believe it is the 15-minute or the 30-minute. Let's see, but that's how the trade management works. So it goes in initially at a percentage. Sorry, I don't know what chart I'm on right now. I'm on the tick chart. It goes in, and this is the signal from the market geometry right now. So it goes in initially at a percentage of the average range. And for now, until I program all this out into a proper, it'll be an indicator basically. It's using the actual entry chart. So it's based on a percentage of the average range for the stop, percentage of the average range for the target, and 2 contracts. What a good looking entry. And then I adjust the stops and the targets immediately after entry, which in this case I didn't do immediately because I'm sitting here talking to you, but yeah, I'll tighten these up. And then I'm going to move my target just a little bit above that high and see if I can't at least break back up. I don't really need this one anymore. You know, I'll probably end up getting stopped out because it does look a little bit like a lower high, but if it does, it does. I mean, you know, at least I'm doing it as, how do you call that? You know, transparency and whatnot, like the government says they're going to be. At least I'm being transparent and doing it in front of you. Oh, I'm sweating though. I'm definitely sweating. But I do have a little room to tighten that up. It's cool. It's at the same area on the tick chart as it is on the minute chart. That's all right. So yeah, one of the charts I have an area. All right, let me show you this. We'll close with this. You joined in 2014. I think you did, yeah. That was when I first started. Well, let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I was doing automated systems for people in Bloodhound. I think the end of 2012 or 2013. Did that for a few years. And then I think I opened the trading room January of 2015. Or was it 2014? No, I opened the trading room January 2015. And that's when we really buckled down on development. Yeah. And then I was thinking, we'd just be moving right over from Ninja 7 and Ninja 8 real fast without any hiccups or issues, or, you know, it would be totally fine. And it would take about 12 months. I think it took about 3.5 years. No small challenge, but here we are. And we've finally arrived, it seems, right in the middle of the freaking coronavirus. Transdemic. Or however you say that. Certain words you can't use, you know. So let's see. My target, where is my target going to be? Anybody have any idea? So if I bought this, what am I buying it as? Anybody have any idea? Just by looking at that all by itself. So where would you put your target? If you bought the current low, based on what? Nobody knows. Somebody does. Surely. Well, anyway. So we use the market geometry to define the areas that we want to get into the trade from which we want to enter the trade, as I should say, in proper English. And then we choose our targets based on those areas. And if it actually turns from the area from which we've entered the trade, then we'll use that low for a long or a high for a short to also develop a target. So in this case, it's pretty clear. I'm using the lowest closing price here on the 5-minute because that wick is so huge that it produces a pretty steep channel, at least steep enough to be absurd, not absurd, but just a bit out of bounds, you know, like it's not going to make it to the top of that channel too fast, let's say. So in that case, when we have such a move, we would call that more or less a V bottom. It's definitely a V straight shot falling knife right into that low, turning up from the perfect spot in the market geometry that I just happened to not draw because we were focused on the ES entry. But yeah, so I'm drawing from that lowest closing price to this low here, which gives me the upsloping lower median line from which I took the entry. And now I have two targets. Okay. So I'm in two contracts and I'm using what's called Blackbird for this from Shark Indicators, which I'll show next Monday as well. But so I define those two targets based on percentage of the average range, but in relation to the size of the stop, which means R multiples, risk multiples, or multipliers rather. Yeah. So if I bought this, I've got one target for target A, and then another target for target B. In fact, I call them 1 and 2 now. And why do I do that? We have three different charts. We have the row charts, which are it's seconds, ticks, and range. So you can make really any chart you can think of using that bar type, which I just happened to name after myself, only because somebody told me to. It's not something I would have done, but anyway, that seems a little bit egotistical, but evidently other people have done it, so therefore I should have, according to these people. So I did, and we have a row 1 and a row 2, and then we have a tick chart, 2 tick charts, in fact. We have tick 1 and tick 2, and then we have minute charts, and guess what? We've got min 1 and min 2. So this is min 2, which happens to be a 5-minute, and it all depends upon the market you're trading. The multipliers between the charts are all the same, but the value for the minute chart that you use for min 1 depends upon volatility, you know, which market it is. For instance, for the bonds, most of the charts, most of the instruments, Min 1 is a 2-minute chart, but for the bonds, Min 1 is a 4-minute chart. Okay. It's the major difference. It mostly depends on volatility. Like, what is the average volatility, or say average range, actually, of a 5-minute chart? Okay, if it's really tiny, which it is for the bonds, then we have to increase the starting size of that first minute chart. And then I set the tick 1 to try to have about as many, as close as we can using our time frame tuner tool, to have about as many bars during the RTH session. I have to give you guys a glossary next time, as we have on the 1-minute chart RTH session. So that's why there's a particular set of tick values and row chart values. All right, so therefore we have order set 1 and 2. Where do you think order set 1 is managed? Maybe on tick 1 and min 1? And order set 2, where do you think it's managed? Possibly on min 2 and tick 2. Very, very likely, in fact. All right, so min 2, I've got evidently the tick chart with a line way up here that must be colored spring green, because Bloodhound is attached, or sorry, Blackbird rather, has attached the order to that value. All right, so I need to find my tick 2 chart real fast. And I've got it right. That's the ES. See, I've got all the charts showing now from all 3 workspaces. So it's quite a few charts. Let me see. I think I can just click on the window manager and hide all of those. I'm not going to risk that. 1 second here. There it is. Yep, look at that. There's that spring green line right there. And that's what Blackbird has attached that order to, see? So if I delete it, where will it go? Well, it's going to go where I want it to go. Just as things do. And that would be the top of this channel here. Why is that? Well, because it's the top of the channel. So now then, let me delete this line. We'll see that order snap to the value of that line as soon as I make the order start trailing again. No, we need a tick. That's what we need. We need price to move. All right, somebody buy 40, or sorry, somebody buy 4010 or sell 4008. Give me a price movement. See, I've got Blackbird set. There we go. You see that? Isn't that pretty cool? So I'm managing the orders, not just according to the market geometry that I've defined previously before I enter the trade, but also via another Bloodhound template, which is our exits template. So this is when, if we get a lot of volume signals, volume and divergence signals from a particular set of charts, depending upon which order set it is, then we'll get the signal here. I'm sorry, this is for exiting the first contract and for trailing the second contract. So order set 1, which is the one with the lowest price, or the price closest to the entry, that one can be closed at its extreme price maximum favorable excursion on the trade via this exits template, this Bloodhound strategy template, for which I use to exit the first contract, and then it'll tighten up the second contract. And all these solvers are based on market geometry here. And then the rest are volume and momentum divergence from all of those other charts. And it just depends on, what is the entry chart. Sorry, for this one, no. This is purely based on which order number. Okay. So if it gets a couple of very particular signals at an area, it'll close order set 1, and it'll tighten up the stop for order set 2. It's basically what that is. I don't need to be teaching you all the rules of my system for, everyone in the world to see. Yeah, in fact, I'll stop that right now. So what I'm going to do is now set for tick 1 the target for order set 1. So that'll be simply drawing this channel here. And I don't think it's going to change the value of it very much, actually. In fact, I know it won't. No, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave it right there. Because, right, isn't that what I said earlier? Once you break that previous swing, well, that's the first spot from which you could potentially fail. Oh, and guess what? We've got a reversal back down on the hourly chart of the ES. Look at this. I need to hurry up and get my... any one of you guys know AutoHotkey scripting language? Yeah, look at that. Turning down here now. So that could, in fact, be that wave 2. Anyway, that's our last ditch effort at a lower high. And that'll do it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm pretty well done. I'm pooped anyway, and I'm tired of being called names by these people, or bots, or whatever they are, morons. So weird to be attacked. It's kind of a strange thing. It's weird. It doesn't even bother me. It's just kind of tiring, I used to let stuff like that really bother me. Now I couldn't care any less. I'm just worried about me and my girlfriend and God and staying healthy, staying here. And that's about all I can afford to worry about. How about that? All right. Anybody have any questions before I go? Vadim, that's something I'd like to do with you, actually. Work on some modeling between some of the intermarket relationships. And I've been meaning to call you. I've just been so darn busy with what what's going on. But yeah, I need to do some business process automation. So that's right up your alley, isn't it? Okay, good. Yeah, you probably know AutoHotkey too, don't you? Or if not, you could probably learn it in 5 minutes. Oh man, are you really? Okay, so if I need you now. Okay. All right. Okay, good. I'm gonna put together some things and I'm just gonna go ahead and do that sooner than later. I was thinking I might have had some time left, but I guess I don't. Okay. All right. I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. And Mick, I'll call you here shortly. I'm just gonna say hey to Katie. And then I'll give you a call. I gotta add you. If I can't, I mean, just call my phone because I've got it down to 25 cents a minute now, 24 cents a minute. Or no, if you call me, then it's, no. It's from a landline. If you call me from a landline, then it's 5 cents a minute. That's the way it works. But then it's probably much more expensive for you to call me from a landline, right? Yeah. We'll figure Skype out. If I can't figure Skype out, what do you have? You have WhatsApp, or how else can we talk? You got WhatsApp? I think I have it. I just haven't used it in so long. So yeah, you're welcome, guys. Y'all have a good one. I'm gonna shut it down now. Ron, you probably need some help then, man. You want to write into support@tradetheplan.com and Cedric will sort you out. He could probably do that for you first thing in the morning. He'll jump on and just show you real quick. What do I do? Just search your email, Edward Mick. I want to say the email that I've used is that Daniel Rowe at tradetheplan.com and WhatsApp. No. We'll figure it out together. I'll call you here shortly. Just give me about 10 minutes. All right. You guys have a good one. Sorry for all the, just, same old. But hey, got myself all my new parts. I'm going to build a new computer just in time for a brand new relative volume for which I won't even need a brand new computer. So yeah, whatever. Such is life. All full of mystery and craziness. What a world, huh? It's enough to drive one insane sometimes. Let me give you guys a link to YouTube real quick, just in case you want it. You guys in the room have it, but I don't know if I gave it to those on the webinar or not. I don't even know if I have it open. Yeah, here it is right here. Evernote to share files instantly. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things we could use. But no, we got our own server. I mean, to use somebody else's would be to expose ourselves, which we don't need to do that in public. Heaven forbid. Make all y'all jealous. All right, there's the link to the YouTube recording. Yeah, we shan't expose ourselves. All right, I'll talk to you guys here shortly. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Bye everyone. Have a good one. Call you in 10 minutes, Mick. See you guys. Cheers.